Romance is an exhilarating journey, a roller coaster of emotions that, despite its ups and downs, leaves us with a sense of fulfillment. At its core, love is something truly magical, having that one special person by your side, someone to share your triumphs and struggles, your quiet moments and your loudest laughs. It's a connection that deepens over time, someone who truly knows you, who's seen you at your best and your worst. Love is what transforms ordinary life into something extraordinary, giving us a sense of belonging and comfort. But, as wonderful as romance can be, it isn't always easy. It requires more than just feelings. It demands communication, vulnerability, and the right social skills. After all, how else could we express the love we feel in our hearts if we don't know how to communicate it? From the moment we're born, our lives are shaped by relationships. We learn to connect with our families, form friendships, and eventually, venture into the world of romance. As we mature, our connections expand further, leading us to new experiences, new emotions, and for many, the dream of building a family. But for any of these relationships to truly thrive, one thing is clear: they all rely on the mastery of social skills. Relationships, especially romantic ones, will inevitably face challenges, moments when the emotional tide is high, and communication falters. But imagine navigating these moments without the ability to communicate openly, without the tools to express your needs and feelings. It would be a recipe for disaster. Couples often know that good communication is key to long-term success, but knowing it and actually practicing it are two very different things. It's easy to be aware that you should listen better, express yourself more clearly, or be more patient. But how many of us actually take steps to improve these skills? How many of us can say we truly know how to communicate when it matters most? In the early stages of any romance, we begin with a series of dates, small exchanges that allow us to get to know each other. This is where our social skills begin to shine. We ask questions, share stories, use body language to signal our interest, and show vulnerability. All these little gestures are forms of communication, and they help lay the foundation of the relationship. But time changes things. As the years go by, people grow, evolve, and sometimes, partners may no longer be the same individuals who first fell in love. It's a natural part of life. So, what happens when you're no longer the same person you were at the start of your relationship? How do you ensure that you're still on the same page, still headed in the same direction? The answer, once again, lies in communication. If you stop talking to each other, if you stop sharing, understanding, and evolving together, the bond starts to fray. To keep a relationship strong, you must continue to communicate, to rediscover each other, and to make sure you're both growing in a way that strengthens the bond, not weakens it. At the start of a new romance, clear communication is crucial. When you withhold parts of yourself, your fears, desires, or insecurities, trust becomes elusive. Without trust, the foundation of the relationship becomes unstable, and the journey forward becomes much harder. It's in those early moments of honesty and openness that a relationship either finds its footing or stumbles. Communication doesn't just keep a relationship going, it builds trust, and trust is what keeps it alive. However, it's not always easy. Sometimes, our words don't align with our true feelings, and when we lack the right social skills, misunderstandings can easily arise. Left unchecked, these misunderstandings can pile up, creating unnecessary tension and emotional baggage. We might avoid talking about them, thinking they're insignificant or that it's not the right time. But when we allow these little issues to go unresolved, they begin to affect how we behave with each other, subtly influencing both our romantic gestures and communication patterns. To navigate the complex world of romance, you need more than just chemistry. You need the tools to communicate effectively, to understand and be understood. Whether you're just starting a relationship or have been in one for years, the ability to communicate well, to be socially skilled, to listen deeply, and to share openly, is what will ultimately determine whether your love lasts. Romance isn't just about passion, it's about the connection you build through each conversation, each moment of vulnerability, and each shared experience. Without that, love can easily fade into something much less meaningful. So, are you ready to truly connect? A lasting romance isn't something that happens overnight. It's a slow, deliberate process, a journey that unfolds over time. The true measure of whether a relationship is built to last lies in how partners communicate with each other and how they navigate the inevitable challenges that life throws their way. Relationships aren't always smooth sailing, and the best couples are those who understand that the strength of their bond comes from their ability to talk through the tough times and work together to find solutions. Couples who enjoy lasting happiness have figured out a key secret: effective communication is the cornerstone of a deep, enduring connection. They know that it's not just about sharing romantic moments, but about expressing needs, addressing concerns, and making sure each person feels heard and valued. Years into their relationships, these couples continue to use the same communication skills that brought them closer in the first place, because they know that without open dialogue, even the strongest relationships can falter. Communication is vital because problems don't just disappear when ignored. You can't pretend issues don't exist, hoping they'll vanish on their own. If you neglect the issues in your relationship or avoid addressing uncomfortable emotions, you're setting your connection up for failure. The more you avoid talking about problems, the bigger they become. And if one partner is eager to discuss an issue but the other shuts it down, frustration and resentment build over time, making the relationship harder to sustain. Addressing problems early, with an open mind and a willingness to listen, can prevent those frustrations from taking root. But healthy communication doesn't just happen. The happiest couples actively work to improve how they interact with each other, constantly practicing habits that promote connection and understanding. These habits aren't dramatic or flashy, they're simple, everyday actions that help nurture the relationship. One of the most important habits is expressing appreciation, even for the small things. In happy relationships, partners don't take each other for granted. If your partner makes you a cup of coffee, thank them. If they hold the door open for you, express your gratitude. These small gestures of appreciation don't need to be grand. Sometimes a simple thank you note or a text message of appreciation can make all the difference in maintaining a positive connection. Another key habit is never assuming. Happy couples don't expect their partner to read their mind or pick up on vague hints. Instead, they ask for what they want or need, knowing that clear communication is essential. Assuming your partner knows exactly what you want without asking can lead to misunderstandings, which can quickly escalate into unnecessary conflicts. If something's important to you, speak up and ask for it directly. It saves everyone from frustration and prevents tension from building up. Sharing responsibilities is also crucial. Whether it's household chores or emotional support, successful couples work together as a team. When both partners share the load, whether it's cleaning, cooking, or simply supporting each other through tough times, it creates a sense of equality and fairness. Rotating chores and making sure that neither partner feels overwhelmed by the weight of responsibility can foster a sense of partnership and mutual respect. Using positive language during difficult conversations is another key element. Life isn't always smooth, and conflicts are inevitable. But couples who thrive know how to handle those moments with care. Instead of letting negative emotions take over, they choose words that support and uplift their partner. Phrases like, "I hear you," and "I value your perspective," or "I understand this is tough, but we'll get through it together," help to de-escalate tensions and keep the conversation productive. Positive language can prevent arguments from spiraling and help keep the focus on finding solutions rather than assigning blame. Avoiding judgment is equally important. Criticism and judgment can destroy intimacy in a relationship. When we judge our partners, we make them feel inadequate, insecure, or unloved. This creates emotional walls that block open communication and can lead to emotional distance. Instead of judging, listen with empathy and respect. Create a safe space where your partner feels free to express themselves without fear of being criticized. Lastly, relationships thrive when there are no unrealistic expectations. Every person is unique, and expecting your partner to meet all of your needs or live up to impossible standards is unfair. Expecting perfection only leads to disappointment, and when we focus on what our partner isn't doing right, we miss out on appreciating all that they do. Instead of living in a constant state of expectation, embrace the differences and imperfections that make each person unique. Love them for who they are, not for who you want them to be. Ultimately, building a relationship that lasts requires patience, understanding, and constant effort. It's about nurturing communication, making your partner feel heard and appreciated, and working through the tough times together. By adopting these healthy habits, you create a foundation that can withstand any storm and ensure that the love you share only grows stronger over time. Are you guilty of judgment in your relationship? Why do we judge the ones we love? It may seem counterintuitive, but all too often, we find ourselves scrutinizing our partners, picking apart the details of their behavior, actions, and words. We may even tell ourselves we love them, yet our actions tell a different story. Why is it that we do this? The answer lies within our brains. We are naturally wired to judge anything or anyone that feels different from us. And while this might help us navigate the world, it can destroy the intimacy and trust in a romantic relationship. Often, judgment shows up in subtle ways, comparing your partner to others, thinking you know better, or trying to mold them into someone they're not. These comparisons, whether made in silence or out loud, undermine the very connection that once brought you together. The real tragedy? Your partner may not even be aware they are being judged. This habit may become so ingrained that it feels normal, but it's one of the most harmful things you can do to a relationship. Every time you judge, you build walls between the two of you, and over time, those walls can become insurmountable. If you've noticed yourself slipping into judgment more than you'd like, it's time to take action before the relationship is irreparably damaged. Here's how you can stop the cycle of judgment. 1. Stop expecting your partner to be like you. Everyone is shaped by their own experiences, and they are doing the best they can with what they've learned from life. No one is intentionally showing their worst side, so allow them the space to be who they are, without trying to change them to fit your mold. 2. Listen actively. Take a step back and listen deeply to what your partner is saying. Their perspective is valid, even if it doesn't match yours. Listening without judgment fosters understanding and helps you see things from their point of view. 3. Remember, you're not their manager. Being in a relationship doesn't give you the right to control your partner's life. A relationship is about two people coming together, each bringing their unique selves into the mix. It's about supporting, not micromanaging. 4. Focus on the qualities that made you fall in love. When you stop nitpicking and instead choose to focus on the positive aspects of your partner, you foster compassion and connection. Make it a habit to remind yourself of what you love about them and appreciate the unique qualities they bring to your life. Is it too late to apologize? Apologies are often overlooked in relationships, but they play a crucial role in maintaining harmony and trust. No one is perfect, and mistakes are inevitable, but how we handle those mistakes determines the health of the relationship. If you don't apologize for your wrongdoings, how long do you think your partner will tolerate the strain before it begins to erode the bond between you? Some partners are patient and forgiving, but it's a dangerous game to take that for granted. Eventually, even the most understanding person can reach their breaking point. A sincere apology serves two important purposes. It shows remorse for your actions and acknowledges the pain you've caused your partner. Without this, the relationship may never truly heal. Think about it. How often do you truly apologize? Not just saying the words because it's expected, but apologizing with genuine remorse. Ego and pride often get in the way of an honest apology, but they're the very things that make the process difficult. To apologize means accepting responsibility for your actions, and that can be uncomfortable. Facing our mistakes requires vulnerability, and if pride is in the way, it becomes even harder to make that emotional leap. But here's the key: an apology only works if it comes from the heart. If it's said out of obligation, then it loses its meaning. It's easy to say, sorry, just to move past a difficult moment, but a heartfelt apology can open the door to healing and better communication. Restoring the relationship through apology and communication. If your relationship has suffered from a misstep, using your communication and social skills to make amends is crucial. Here's how to genuinely repair the bond. 1. Empathize and apologize. Put yourself in your partner's shoes and imagine how they must feel. Empathy allows you to truly understand the impact of your actions, which makes your apology more heartfelt and sincere. 2. Make the first move. In many situations, we're quick to apologize to strangers or acquaintances, but hesitate when it comes to the people we love. Once you realize you've made a mistake, don't wait. Apologize immediately, before the wound has a chance to fester. The longer you wait, the more difficult it becomes to repair the damage. 3. Discard the excuses. There are always reasons or justifications we can come up with for our actions, but they don't matter when it comes to hurting someone you love. Take responsibility for your actions without trying to shift the blame. A genuine apology is about acknowledging the hurt you caused, not deflecting or making excuses. In the end, the strength of a relationship lies in how we treat each other during the rough patches. Learning to apologize with sincerity and humility can restore not just trust, but the deep connection that makes love thrive. So, are you ready to put aside your pride and genuinely make things right? Your relationship depends on it. The danger of manipulation in relationships. Improving your social skills is all about strengthening your existing qualities and becoming a more authentic version of yourself. The key to true, lasting friendships and fulfilling relationships is being genuine, allowing people to get to know the real you. You don't need to manipulate anyone into liking or loving you. Instead, you simply need to let them see the person you truly are. True connection happens when both parties are real with one another. However, as beneficial as social skills are for building healthy relationships, they can also be misused. When individuals use their social skills for manipulation and deception, they exploit these abilities for control and power. These master manipulators may appear charming and persuasive, but their ultimate goal is to bend others to their will for their personal gain. In relationships, particularly romantic ones, this kind of manipulation can be destructive. At the heart of any strong relationship is trust and mutual respect. These can never coexist with manipulation. If one partner is deceitful, selfish, and uses their social influence to control the other, trust is eroded, and love is tainted. This is a painful reality to face, especially when someone you loved uses their manipulation skills to deceive and hurt you. It's heartbreaking and often leaves deep emotional scars. What was once a trusting, loving relationship becomes a battleground of control, leaving one or both partners feeling betrayed and confused. The destructive nature of manipulation. Manipulation breeds toxicity in relationships, and its impact can be devastating. One of the most dangerous aspects of being in a manipulative relationship is how gradually it takes hold. The manipulator's charm and seductive nature pull you in, and slowly, without realizing it, you start to lose yourself. The changes are subtle at first, and you might not even notice them until you're deeply entrenched in the relationship. Here are some signs that you may be losing yourself in a manipulative relationship. 1. You lose touch with yourself. Over time, you start to change your opinions, desires, and beliefs to please your partner or avoid conflict. What was once important to you becomes secondary, and you focus solely on keeping the peace. 2. You adopt their problems as your own. The manipulator's problems start to feel like your own. You may feel overwhelmed by their issues, as if their struggles are now your responsibility. 3. You neglect your own goals and dreams. The more you become consumed by the relationship, the less you focus on your own ambitions, passions, and desires. Your partner's needs take precedence, and your own dreams are put on hold. 4. You stop expressing your needs. Over time, you stop speaking up about what you need or want from the relationship. You begin to suppress your own desires to avoid confrontation or to please your partner. 5. You go through the motions. The emotional connection you once had fades, and you begin to just go through the motions of the relationship. There's no real passion or feeling behind your actions anymore. 6. You live in fear. Your life becomes filled with worry and anxiety, always wondering what the manipulator will do next or how they will react. You feel powerless, and your sense of security is shaken. 7. You become resentful. After continually attending to everyone else's needs but your own, resentment begins to build. You may feel trapped, as if your needs are never considered, and that can lead to deep frustration. Once you've gone too far down this path, breaking free becomes incredibly difficult. The manipulator, having gained control over you, won't easily let you go. They will do whatever it takes to keep you in the relationship, using guilt, fear, and emotional manipulation to maintain their power. If you find yourself in this type of relationship, it's important to recognize the signs early and take steps to protect yourself. Manipulation can slowly chip away at your sense of self, leaving you powerless and resentful. Escaping it requires strength, self-awareness, and sometimes external support, but it's essential to reclaim your life and well-being before the damage becomes irreversible. When a relationship turns toxic, the dangers of manipulation. Manipulators can be incredibly difficult to identify, especially in the early stages of a relationship. They often come across as strong, charismatic individuals with a dominant personality and a thirst for control. At first, they might seem caring, even loving, but make no mistake, their affection is self-serving. Manipulators seek power and control over others, and they typically target individuals they perceive as weaker or more vulnerable. The manipulative person will convince you they love you, but their love is ultimately conditional, revolving around what you can provide for them. Their needs will always come first, and they will stop at nothing to fulfill their desires, even if it means betraying you. Emotional manipulation is their primary tool, and they are emotional leeches, draining you of positivity, energy, and self-worth. A toxic relationship with a manipulator can have long-lasting and damaging effects, often leading to significant emotional and psychological consequences. Here are some of the red flags and outcomes of being trapped in a toxic relationship with a manipulator. 1. An unhealthy, imbalanced relationship. A manipulative relationship lacks the core values of trust, respect, and mutual support. Instead, it's built on power dynamics and deceit, where one partner constantly seeks to dominate the other. 2. Emotional and psychological damage. Manipulators thrive on making others feel weak or dependent. They may use emotional tactics like guilt, fear, or even physical abuse to maintain control. Their behavior can harm your mental and emotional health, leading to anxiety, depression, and self-doubt. 3. Damaged self-esteem and self-worth. Manipulators break you down to build themselves up. They will criticize, belittle, and invalidate you to erode your confidence. Over time, you start to believe that you aren't good enough or that you deserve the treatment they give you. 4. A constant sense of pressure and control. You begin to feel trapped, like your every move is being monitored or controlled. The manipulator makes you feel like you have no freedom to make your own choices, as their needs always come first. 5. Forced compliance. In toxic relationships, you might feel compelled to do things you don't want to do simply to avoid conflict or to please your manipulative partner. Your actions become motivated by fear, guilt, and obligation rather than genuine desire. 6. Gaslighting and self-doubt. Gaslighting is a common tactic used by manipulators. They distort the truth, make you doubt your own perceptions, and create a false narrative that makes you feel guilty or like you're always in the wrong, even when you're not. This constant confusion undermines your ability to trust yourself. 7. The silent treatment. Manipulators will often use the silent treatment as a form of punishment or control. By withdrawing communication, they make you feel anxious or guilty, hoping that you will comply with their wishes to avoid further rejection or emotional pain. 8. Social isolation. One of the most insidious aspects of manipulation is isolating you from your support system. The manipulator may subtly or overtly undermine your relationships with family and friends, leaving you feeling alone and dependent on them for emotional validation. Over time, you may not even realize how much you've withdrawn from the people you once cared about. The path to healing. If you recognize these signs in your relationship, it's crucial to seek help. Toxic relationships with manipulators can be incredibly difficult to leave, especially when they have successfully isolated you or undermined your sense of self-worth. However, the first step in healing is recognizing the problem. Building healthy relationships requires mutual respect, open communication, and emotional support. If you're in a toxic, manipulative relationship, you deserve to reclaim your life and well-being. Don't be afraid to reach out for support from trusted friends, family, or a professional therapist to help you break free and rebuild your sense of self. How to handle a relationship with a manipulator. Manipulation is a subtle and often insidious behavior that can be difficult to detect early in a relationship. Manipulators are adept at concealing their true nature, and only when you're emotionally invested do the warning signs begin to appear. At that point, it can be heart-wrenching to realize that the person you've trusted and loved may not be who you thought they were. This can be especially difficult because, in the early stages of love, we often overlook or make excuses for problematic behaviors. Here are some of the key signs that suggest your partner might be a manipulator. 1. Confusion and uncertainty about the relationship. Manipulators often leave you unsure about where you stand in the relationship, creating confusion about its future. You might feel like you're constantly guessing what they want from you. 2. The inability to be yourself. A manipulator will make you feel like you must hide parts of yourself to gain their approval. This can erode your sense of self-worth over time, making you feel like you're always walking on eggshells. 3. Heated, hurtful arguments. Arguments with a manipulative partner often lack mutual respect, with them hurling insults that leave you feeling emotionally battered. They may apologize afterward, but these promises of change are rarely kept. 4. Neglect of your own needs. You may feel like your own desires and needs are constantly put on the back burner in favor of your partner's wants. When you suggest activities or ideas, they dismiss them, making you feel like your contributions are never enough. 5. Constant criticism. A manipulator may frequently point out your flaws, causing you to feel bad about yourself. This can significantly diminish your confidence and self-esteem. 6. Silent treatment after disagreements. When you don't comply with their wishes or challenge them, a manipulator may resort to giving you the silent treatment, ignoring you and refusing to engage in conversation. This is a tactic to make you feel guilty and compliant. Steps to handle a relationship with a manipulator. 1. Set firm boundaries. The best way to protect yourself from a manipulative person is by establishing clear boundaries. Know what behaviors are unacceptable and make it clear that you won't tolerate them. Boundaries aren't about building walls to keep people out, but about knowing what you are willing to accept and what crosses the line. Setting boundaries helps safeguard your self-worth. 2. Don't ignore red flags. In a new relationship, it's easy to overlook red flags because we're emotionally invested. However, it's important to trust your instincts. If you feel disrespected, invalidated, or manipulated, don't brush it off. Address the issue early before it escalates. 3. Seek external support. If you're already in a relationship with a manipulator, it's essential to seek outside help. This could be from trusted friends, family, or a therapist. Manipulators often isolate their victims, so it's important to maintain your support network and gain perspective from others. 4. Know when to walk away. Unfortunately, manipulators are unlikely to change their behavior. Even if you try to communicate or confront them, they will likely continue their manipulative tactics. If you've established clear boundaries and the manipulator refuses to respect them, you may need to consider ending the relationship for your own well-being. Staying in a toxic relationship long-term can have lasting effects on your emotional health. 5. Take care of yourself. Focusing on your own well-being is crucial. Engage in activities that nourish your body and mind. Keep in touch with friends and family, and prioritize your own needs. When you're in a relationship with a manipulator, it's easy to lose sight of your own identity and needs, so it's essential to rebuild your sense of self. Ultimately, a healthy relationship should be built on trust, respect, and equality. If manipulation is present, it will erode these qualities and create an unhealthy dynamic. If you are in a relationship with a manipulator, you deserve to be treated with kindness and respect, and sometimes the hardest but healthiest choice is to walk away. How to deal with a manipulative partner or spouse. Once you realize that your partner or spouse is manipulative, it can be an overwhelming and painful realization. However, there are steps you can take to protect yourself emotionally, mentally, and physically while you navigate the relationship. Here are ways to handle the situation. 1. Spend time with people who bring out the best in you. Seek out supportive and positive people who uplift you. If possible, minimize your interactions with the manipulative person. You don't have to feel guilty for choosing to spend time away from toxic individuals. Protecting your well-being should always come first. 2. Express your feelings. While it may not change the manipulator's behavior, letting them know how you feel is crucial for your own emotional health. Bottling up your emotions only intensifies stress, frustration, and anxiety. Be honest about your feelings, but do so in a way that prioritizes your own mental clarity. 3. Stand firm in your values and principles. Manipulators often try to make you question your beliefs, principles, and decisions. Hold on to what you believe in and let those values serve as your anchor. Don't compromise your integrity or bend your rules for anyone, especially a manipulative partner. 4. Stop indulging in their behavior. Manipulators may try to guilt or pressure you into tolerating their irrational and frustrating behavior. Remember, you have the power to choose how you respond. Don't allow yourself to get sucked into their emotional chaos. Walking away from an argument or choosing not to respond can be the best option for maintaining your mental and emotional health. 5. Trust in yourself. No matter how much they try to shake your faith in yourself, remember that you know what makes you happy and what you need to thrive. Each time you let someone else dictate your choices, you give away your happiness. Reclaim your personal power by trusting in your instincts and desires. 6. Have courage and be kind to yourself. It takes incredible courage to confront a manipulative partner, especially when it feels like you are being emotionally drained. Understand that every difficult decision you make to stand up for yourself is a step toward becoming stronger and more resilient. Be compassionate toward yourself, recognizing that you are doing the best you can in a difficult situation. Building a support system. Facing the reality that your partner is manipulative can be incredibly hard, especially when it's someone you love. However, you don't have to go through this alone. Reach out to family, friends, or a trusted support system. These people can remind you of your worth, offer guidance, and help you maintain a sense of stability outside of the toxic relationship. When you are constantly being made to doubt yourself, your loved ones can provide the affirmation and strength you need. Remember, you are worthy of love and respect. Don't allow the manipulator to take away your confidence or make you forget your self-worth. Trust in your own value and never let anyone make you feel inferior.